Hi everyone, my name is Wisdom and you're welcome back. Today I'm going to, what is even the title of this video? How I discovered my $1 million in quotes or million naira blog niche. Now, first of all, I haven't made millions from this niche, but I believe that this niche that I've discovered, this niche, is it niches I've discovered will allow me to build a blog that is worth millions of dollars and would also allow me to build a blog that is worth millions of nairas. Now, you understand why I'm talking dollars and naira. You understand why, because there are two niches that I came up with, and I will explain why in this video. Okay, the first thing is last video, the previous video, I talked about that I'm going to work on blogging projects, two different blogging projects now, and I was like, I have 30 days now. Today is like, yeah, today day one, today is day one, a bit, or day two, yeah. So I had 30 days to work on this project and get it to start working. Now, the two niche I came up with, before I go into my niche, I'll share with you the process I use. Now, the first one is you want to look at your personal background. Most people are like, oh, I'm looking for niche, I'm looking for this stuff. Oh, I'm not really, I have an ordinary life, a mundane life. There's nothing so special about me. But the truth is that we all have something that is unique about us, that is special about us. We all have one experience, we have one way or the other. So the question is, what are you good at? Like, what do you have interest in at? So certain people that they can sew, they can do Igbo, Yoruba, or particular local language. You could start a blog around that stuff, teaching people about the language. That's one way. I'm not saying that that's what you should go create a blog on, but I'm just saying that there are so many things that we are good at that we discard. Probably you studied in engineering school. Like, if you study in engineering school, and if you were to start an engineering blog, like there are different ways you specialize in niche, though. But if you start an engineering blog, it will be way easier for you, because if someone who has never done engineering before in their life, like, where do they even start from? It's a lot of complex things that they're like, or someone who has never done medicine before and you're like, I want to start health and fitness blog. Yeah, you could start it, but the question is, what approach are you using towards it? Why should people trust you? Why should people believe you? You get? So for me, I'm like, okay, what are the things that are trending right now? What are the new things that are trending? What are things that are popular right now? And it's not necessarily the fact that you look at trends per se, but you want to like, okay, what are people interested in? Or what have people been interested in that they are still interested in? The next thing, like, what are the gaps in the market? So usually what I do is if I come up with a niche idea, I'm like, okay, what are the competitors out there? If I was to start this niche idea, who are the people I will compete with? And I'm like, I go look around, first of all, check their website, look at the number of visits they're getting. So if they're getting a lot of visits, I'm like, okay, from Google or whatever forms of traffic, I'm like, okay, people are visiting this site. This site is onto something. Then I not just check one, I check, okay, are there other competitors in the niche? If it's just one blog, well, it doesn't mean I can't do it, but I'm like, okay, let's be looking at it one way first, like this. But if it has up to 5-10 blogs, then what that means is that there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of opportunity. I can work on that. Okay, people are interested in this stuff. Then next thing I ask myself is, what is the gap in the industry? Okay, what is the gap? So right now I looked at and I asked myself, what is the gap? And I noticed that the platforms that they are not really active on social media. Like, they have a blog, they write blog posts, they expect to rank on Google, which is great, which is wonderful. And most majority of their traffic comes from Google. But there's no social media presence on YouTube and other stuff. There's nothing. And there's nothing like own personality. People just writing blog posts and putting it out there. And except of those who are searching, but there is no full ecosystem meant to help the writers. Sorry, not writers. To help the readers, yeah. So I was like, okay, I could definitely work on that. I could work on the social media aspect and help the readers. The next thing I was like, okay, their social media. I looked at their social media accounts. Some of them didn't have social media accounts, so there was really no social media traffic. Those that had social media account, they posted. The last post they did was like 2 years or 3 years ago. I was like, okay. So people are interested in this stuff, irrespectively. Like, how do I explain now? The traffic was coming from Google, which meant that people were actively searching for this stuff. One. But it means that if people were actively searching for this stuff, it means that there are a lot of people on other platforms that are not actively searching for this stuff, but will be interested in this stuff. You get? So the question is, if you were to spend time and energy to go reach out to those people, you get a lot of traffic to your site. So the next thing I did was brainstorming. I was like, okay, how do I come up with stuff? I was like, okay, how do I monetize? How do I look at it? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I was like, what audience? What should I focus on? And yeah. I was able to come up with two major niche. Now, when I came up with those two major niche, I will share with you the niches that I came up with later on. But when I came up with those two niches, I was like, how do I validate it? First thing I did was keyword research. The keywords around this niche, are they getting are people searching for it? And I saw that a lot of people were searching for it. A lot of people were looking for it. I was like, wow, great, awesome, wonderful, nice. Check competitor analysis. Looked at my competitors. What are they doing? How long have they been in the business? I saw that a lot of them have been around for a long time and they're still moving on. While I saw a lot of opportunities out there, but I was like, wow, great, awesome. And I was like, okay, I've asked people, audience, what are you people interested in? What's this stuff? And I've seen stuff like that. I've surveyed it before. The next thing I did was like, okay, how do I narrow these ideas down? How do I focus? And instead of just doing a niche about everything out there. Okay, so the next thing I was like, okay, am I interested in this stuff? Is this stuff I want to do something for the next 5 to 10 years? That's a question I asked myself. I was like, yeah, I gladly want to do work on this stuff. Okay, I was like, now that has been gotten out of the way, how well can I make money in this stuff? Monetization potential. Now, the first blog is about, I saw that, I could make a lot of money, up to millions of dollars, if done right, if I put in the work and everything. And then the other one, I was like, okay, I can make millions of naira, not necessarily millions of dollars per se, or millions of naira. Now, the niche that I came up with is, one is a Nigerian education blog. Now, I'll tell you, the reason why I came up with Nigerian education blog is not because it's the best monetization blog out there, and you can adapt it for your country, because most of the blogs out there, they are geared towards US traffic, like US and the top world countries and all the stuff. But if you could create a country specific blog towards, like, depending on how big your country is, but for most of us, we are in countries that 20 million, 10 million, you can just dominate that market. And because it's something like education blog, if it's country specific, that way you'll be able to serve and help the people a lot, and you're able to reach out to them, do that. Now, I'm doing Nigerian blog, but I'm like, okay, if I'm doing Nigerian blog, it means that more than 80% of my traffic will be coming from Nigeria, of course, definitely. Now, before I go deep into this, a quick word of advice. I found out that most US blogs, if you can just look at US blogs that are doing well, that you have interest in, and kind of make that kind of blog for your country, like, depending on, make that kind of blog for your country, it does really well, because I've seen that there are not a lot of blogs in third world countries per se. Yeah, there are blogs out there, but some of the blogs are not really, they're not like world class, which is one thing. Now, I will explain what I mean by world class later on. They're not world class, and most of the blogs that we see in our own specific countries, in Africa, Nigeria, and all those other Asia parts of, that are also developed, we'll notice that these blogs are mostly entertainment, general news blog, and all that. So for me, I don't really want to do general news blog, because I can't keep up. I don't want to do news. Instead, I want to have a goal-focused blog, a blog that helps people achieve and reach their goals. Yeah, so every other thing is noise, basically. So that's the Nigerian education blog. I wanted to do job for like everything about jobs for Nigerians, everything about business for Nigerians, but I was like, no. The reason why I chose blog is because I have this personal preference towards education. Because part of the reason, before I even got inspired, before my journey of blogging started, the person that I got to listen to, who like shared his success story and was doing a Nigerian education blog. So ever since, that idea has always been in my mind, even though I started a different blog. I was like, what if I did this stuff? What if I did this stuff? And now I'm looking at his blog, and I'm like, his blog he's working, he's doing stuff, and the guy is trying, but I'm like, this thing could be world class, Let's do it to the best of the way, so that when you land on the website, you land on the blog, you look at the blog and you're like, wow, this is you even think it's for someone from the US that did it, because it's just world class. Like, it can, when you're measuring blogs, it can stand that too. And so I saw a lot of gap, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to do that blog too, because I was like, I've always had this feeling that I could do it better. So I'm like, I guess I'll have to see if I was just dreaming and daydreaming and fantasizing, or I could actually do it better. So that's why I'm starting Nigerian education blog. Now, I don't know that right from now I was thinking that people are not going to pay me money when I ask them for digital products and all that. And I was like, that's a lie. Yeah, that's a lie. People want their problem solved. As a student, they want to save time. As a student, if you can create an ecosystem that solves all my problems as a student, such that I don't need to be going to check out things or follow news or anything, I can focus on my studies. And probably every week you give me a newsletter of what I need to know. Not necessarily this person won an award and stuff like that. That's a great news, but that doesn't really help me. The thing I want is, I want to know what are the scholarships out there, what exam is coming up, when is the result coming out, when are they starting registration for this exam, those kind of things, that will help me, so I would not forget, I would not miss out on registration and every other opportunities out there. You get some of the needs of the students. So I was like, if you can have that one thing, so that once you subscribe to the newsletter, you join on WhatsApp. I just go and I check the stuff, and it's easy, and I get to know, okay, this is what's happening, and I don't have to stress myself. So that's that for that. The next blog I want to start is a holiday festivity blog. So the blog, it doesn't really have a niche per se, but it's just about holiday festivities. Yeah. Holidays, festivity. That's what the blog is all about. And what I'm doing is I've seen competitors, and I looked at the competitors, and I've seen that a lot of opportunities out there, and I want to create something like that. Yeah. So now I did say that. Let me quickly share with you this framework. I don't know if you can see. Well, let's see. Can you see? Okay, I don't know. I think it is flipped, but I don't know if you can see this Venn diagram. So it's called Ikigai. So I'll explain it. There are 4 circles. One is what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, what you are good at. And so if you can get a niche, it's a framework you can use. There are different frameworks. I listed in the beginning of the video, I listed different processes that I use to come up and validate my blog. But I'm going to put it to test with this framework and explain it. Now, if you the where the 4 circles meet is called Ikigai. It's like what you're born for, the best. Like if you can have a niche like that, that's brilliant. But then you have the intersection of what you love and what the world needs is called a mission. There are a lot of things that the world needs that nobody really cares to pay you for, but the world needs it. So if you can do it and you love to do it, it's a mission. And then there's what you love and what you are good at. It's called your passion. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be incredibly good at it, but left and right. Now, what you are good at, when it intersects with what you can be paid for, it's called a profession. And then what you can be paid for, when it intersects with what the world needs, it's called a vocation. Okay, so right now, for my blog, Nigerian education blog, is what I love. I love to do that. Like, it's something I wouldn't get bored of. I can work on that. Okay. The other thing is what you're good at. Am I really good at it? I've taught before in the past. I do have a couple of experience in education. I've been there as a student, so I've gone through the Nigerian education system too. I've seen a lot of issues and all that, and I could work on that. And yeah, I've read all the courses, like all of them. I could work on that. Okay, what you can be paid for? Yeah, I can be paid for. Yeah. A lot of digital products I could pay for, like past questions and answers, a paid newsletter, and a community, and other stuff. I'm probably launching an app and later on in the future, but I can be paid for a lot of things. The next thing is what the world needs. Yeah, the world needs it. Yeah, the world needs a better approach towards education. Now, I'll be starting with what is being done right now, but the whole idea is to create an education system that is just different and unique. Yeah, the world needs that. And the world is constantly changing. So the best way is to be at the game. Yeah. So the same thing with the holiday. The holidays, okay, I love holidays, what I love. What am I good at? Okay, I'm good at building blogs and finding holidays and stuff like that, even though I really don't know what holidays are about. Okay, but can I be paid for it? Yeah, I can be paid for it. I can see people paying for digital calendars, a lot of digital products. What the world needs. Yeah, the world needs to know about the holidays because, for example, let's say Mother's Day, you want to know such holidays so that you can send a gift to your mom. You want to know the kind of gift you can send to your mom. That when you do send the gift to her, she was like, "Wow, thank you, son. I really love that gift. It's sentimental, not just amount or cost of money that you spent on it." And then, yeah, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, what you are good at, what you love. So I think it fits into the framework. So basically, that's the niche. Now, I told myself that I was going to come up with name ideas for the stuff. Right now, I'm at the point where I'm like, should I? Last video I talked about that I was going to come up with domain names for the blog, but I have not yet come up with domain names for the blog. So what I'm doing now is I saw recently a book by Noah Kagan called The $1 Million Weekend. So my goal is, today is Friday, my goal is to build a full blog, the full blog in a weekend. And the way I tend to do that is tomorrow I'm going out. I'm going to a co-work space. I told you guys that I'm having power supply issues for like 1 month. I've not seen light here. And sometimes I go and find a way to charge my power bank. So my power bank is like It's very low, like 10% now. So I was like, and they've made this commitment. I was going to show up every day. Let me make a video and post and write blog post and post. Once I do that, what do you call this thing? I can then work on the blog name. So tomorrow, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the co-working space. So it's a place that has 247 lights. They start from 9 o'clock in the morning and they close 6 p.m. in the evening. So I'm go there, and then first I'll use first 2 to 3 hours to come up with good domain names, and then I'll verify that they are available. And once I can see those 2 domains, because the thing that is stopping me is getting those domain names. The work itself doesn't take that long. Okay, I won't say it doesn't take that long, but the goal is that after this weekend, by Monday or so, I would have website. When I'm talking to you about the case study of the progress I've made, there will be a website that I would be sharing and showing you guys. So I was like, this website, you can go check it out there. You get, because coming up with the couple of 5-10 pages, that's not a problem. I can use AI to generate those pages and put it on the site. Buying the domain name is not a problem. It's coming up with the domain name. And I've been coming up with domain names, but they're all taken. Some of them are premium, $5,000 and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's not that easy. But I know that if I keep searching, there are some spaces and gaps in the loops that I can find. And I'll just give myself 3 hours. Yeah, 9 to 12. Yeah, that's true. I'll give myself 3 hours to come up with a domain name, force myself and use all the techniques and available to me, and come up with those domains. Once I come up with those domains, I buy it and I claim all the social media platforms. And once I come up with social media platforms, I would quickly launch the website, build the other pages, and then later on work on the homepage. And then once that has been done, I can then start working on content. I'm creating content. But for now, over the night, even though my phone will not be on, I would just brainstorm a content strategy, how I can differentiate myself and create consistent content out there. So majorly, I would be using automation for these blog systems. Yeah, like automation in such a way that it will allow me to serve the people better. So what I've been thinking is I've been thinking of how I can incorporate what are the people I will need to work with, and then find ways to use automation to do that. So I'll need a social media strategist or social media manager. That's what I need. I'll be using AI and automation to do that. But I told you that for these 2 blogs, one of the things what stops someone from copying it, I've been thinking of how I can differentiate it, and I would use up to like 13 different ways that I can get my competitors not to be able to even compete with me at all. And one of the things I can infuse is my personal brand. I am me and I am me. If someone else can try to copy me, they would not have they would just have something different because they are them and I am me. We're different. Yeah, I'm better, but I'm the best at being me. And then they're best at being themselves. So that's just the truth. My personality is different from every other person. So I would infuse that into the system, creating content out there. And yeah, basically that's that. The whole goal is that in this month, before this month run, I would have a full blogging system, and I'll be having traffic to the site. And yeah, that's but I'll force myself 3 hours. I'll create a domain name, and yeah, I'll create a domain name. But right now, yeah, that's just the thing. I'll create a domain name. Once I create a domain name, the sites can be launched, and then I can create automations to start working. But right now, I'm thinking I probably shouldn't add this to the video, but I'll make a video more on the automation. If you have any other questions or anything you'd like me to make a video on, please let me know in the comment section. And until next time, I'm so happy that we get to build the $1 million and the $1 million blog. Now, I did say I would explain what I meant by $1 million and $1 million blog. So for $1 million, the Nigerian education blog is more like, it's a blog I know that once I build it, can fetch me millions of naira. And then the $1 million blog is that holidays, because then it's global, it's for the world. It's not just Nigeria also. You get, so that's why I said $1 million, $1 million naira. And so that's the way I come up with niche. So one of the ways is we're using the Ikigai system again, is you can write here and you're like, what are the things you love? And some of the ways you can know the things you love is what are the content you consume on Instagram? Like look at your history, your YouTube history. What are the things you've been watching? And so far, like the things you watch consistently, not just one-time stuff. I like watching fashion. I like watching about food stuff and all those things. I love kitchen stuff. I love everything about the kitchen. You write those things, everything. There's not, this stuff is stupid. Write it down. I love this stuff. I love this. I love, anything you love. What are the shows you love? What are the things you love? Write it down. Like, what are the problems the world needs that you feel compared that you could probably solve? Write it down. What can you be paid for? What are things that you can do that you can be paid for? Oh, I can do carpentry, I can sew clothes, I can do all the stuff. Write it down. And then you're like, oh, what you love. You're like, oh, I love comedy. I love comedy skits. I love this stuff and all those things. And then what you are good at. Okay, what am I good at? Okay, I'm good at sewing. I'm good at now. This is what you are good at. Be careful. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's Ikigai. You can just Google it and you see the Venn diagram. But what you are good at, sometimes you might not be possibly good at something per se, but it's something that okay, I'm not good at, but I'm willing to learn. You understand? So let's say you start a food blog, for example. You might not be the best Michelin chef in the world, but you're like, okay, I'm willing to learn about food and try and experiment things. And what all your experiments, you start sharing it with your people on the blog. And basically it becomes what you're good at. You understand? So the thing is, it could be what you are good at. What are you willing to be good at? Okay, that's one way of seeing it. What you love too, So you love the stuff, but you might not be necessarily good at it. But are you willing to get good at it? You know how some of us will love music, but we might not be willing to get good at it. But we love to listen to music, we love other stuff and other things. And in fact, being like there are a lot of niches. There are people who review music, who talk about different stuff in music. Like there's literally anything you can do. There's over 1 billion persons on the world, and definitely there are certain people that are interested in what you're interested in. I think Ikigai is what makes you you and makes you different and unique. So, guys, that's how I came up with my niche. And in the next, hopefully by tomorrow, when I go to the co-working space in the evening when I'm coming back, I will try and record a video on the domain names I came up with. By then, I would have bought the domain names, of course, and claimed it so that people will not go and buy the domain name and then ask me to. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Until next time, keep pushing, keep blogging, and keep working. I'll see you in the next video.